Hi everyone, welcome to this video. Now in this video, we're going to be going over exactly how to check your privacy rules setup, ensuring that the information in your database is adequately protected. And the way that we're going to be checking this is by analyzing the flow of data from Bubble server being the database to the information that's presented on the user's screen being the information on their computer, on the client. And we're going to be using Chrome's dev tool to really analyze the flow of data between the two. So let's jump into the editor and get started. So as we've mentioned, right now what we're trying to build is a social network app. And right now what we have is the profile page, and this profile page does a search to bring up the particular user profile. And what we want to do is we want to just make sure that a logged out user only has access to certain parts of information about the user profile. So to do that, what we have is in our privacy rules, we have the everyone else, and under the everyone else, there's only limited access to various data fields that a user or a user profile can apply. So what we want to do is we want to check that only these data fields are being presented to the end user. So I'm sitting here now on a preview of our profile page and I'm not logged in. So what we want to do is we want to see what kind of information about the user I can actually access. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click and click inspect to bring up the Chrome DevTools. We'll then go to the network tab, and what I will do is I'll just click refresh, and that will just bring up all of the information that's being downloaded onto the page. Now what I want to do is I actually want to go to this one, fetch dash or slash XHR. And what I can see here is just some of the more specific information that's been downloaded on the page. And I'm really interested in this M search, okay? And that's a reference to the searches that are being undertaken by Bubble to call information from the database. And there's two searches here. The first one we're not as interested in, and it actually just refers to the app settings object, which is a standard object in our canvas. So if we go down to here, this object is just downloaded on the page, and that's what this first one is referring to. So let's close that. What I am interested is in this one. So if I open it up, we can see the type is of user and we can see the information that is being provided. All right, so no access to the email. We've got the cover photo image, first last text, picture image, so profile picture, user signed up. So if I jump back over to my privacy tab, I can see first last information should be presented, profile picture, cover photo as well. So what I can see is that Bubble is correctly restricting the data fields so that only the information that I want to be shared with the end user is visible to the end user. So that's really exactly showing how Bubble works, how it limits the information using the privacy rules, and using the Chrome DevTools allows me to understand that transfer of data a bit better. Now, what I want to show you is another example. So just say we have a logged in user, and for the logged in user, so I'll create this now. We actually want the logged in user to have a little bit more access than this one. So what we're actually going to do is we want this logged in user to also be able to access emails. And all I'm doing here is I'm not checking any of the other boxes. I'm only checking the email box. So let me refresh this page, and I'll just log in quickly as well. So I'm logged in here right now, just on a standard account, no special role features. And if I go back to inspect, go to network, refresh the page, what I can see here is I can now see the email. But what is really interesting about this is that I can see the email, but I can also see all the other information which a logged out user could also see. But if we go back to here, we can see that we've only checked one box. Current user is logged in, only has email checked. But what we can see is I can actually see all this extra information. And the reason why is we have everyone else permissions as well. So what Bubble does is it actually combines the rules together. So it'll go through your privacy rules and it will check, all right, does this condition match the current user? And if that condition matches the current user, it will give access to all the data, all the fields that the current user has access to through a privacy rule. So if there's two privacy rules in conflict, being this user falls under everyone else and also falls under current user is logged in, this means that they can access all the information of everyone else and also current user is logged in. And that's just something to be aware of. So if you have two privacy rules in conflict with each other, you need to make sure that you have a really clear separation, either using user roles or some kind of setup to make sure that the current user doesn't fall under multiple categories of privacy rules unless you want it. Because if the user falls under multiple category rules, they will actually be provided the most access possible as per those rules. So right now what it's doing is it's adding up all the privacy rules that they have, all the data fields that are allowed to see, and then presenting that information to the user on the page.